that. And let's go. All right. So we're going to fill out the little box here because that's where all of our information is going to come from. Okay. So the sum of interior angles. So the number of sides minus 2 times 180. So remember, find your number of triangles times 180. One interior angle is going to be n minus 2 times 180 divided by the number of sides. So you want your total divided by n. The sum of exterior angles. So you had your sum, and then you had 1. Now we have our sum of exterior. So the sum of exterior is always 360, never changes. One exterior angle is 360 divided by n. And to find the number of sides, all right, to find the number of sides, you can do 360 divided by 1 exterior angle. If you have exterior angle information, and if it's interior, so n is equal to 360 divided by 1 exterior, or n is equal to the interior sum divided by 180, and then add 2. And you're going to see how this works, okay? So depending on if you're working with interior or exterior numbers, there's 2 different ways, okay? So let's start simple. So what is the sum of the measures of a pentagon? So the sum of interior pentagon, n is 5. So to find the sum, you have to get your number of triangles and multiply by 180. So your number of triangles, so 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 times 180 is 540 degrees. So what is the sum of interior for a 27? 27 minus 2 is 25. Multiply by 180 to get your sum. So we get 4,500 degrees. What is the measure of each interior? And it's a regular octagon. So you have to find your total and then divide by the number of sides. N is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 times 180 is 1080. Now divide by the number of sides. Be careful, don't divide by the number of triangles. So 135 degrees is 1 interior angle. What is the measure of each interior of a regular 20gon? 20 minus 2 is 18. 18 times 180 is 3240. Now divide by the number of sides. So 162 degrees. Now, when I only gave you 2 angles in a triangle, you had to add them and subtract from 180 to get the third angle. You're going to do the exact same thing with all your other polygons. It's just that your total is going to be different. Okay? So if I have 5 angles of a hexagon, so that means that n is 6. Well, if n is 6, then I have to find the total. Okay? So you're going to do 6 minus 4, or 6 minus 2 is 4, sorry. And some of these you'll start to memorize because you'll just know them. So 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 times 180 is 720. So that means instead of adding and subtracting from 180 like I would a triangle, I'm going to add and subtract from 720 because I have a hexagon. All right, so you're going to add everything you have So if I add all of these together, so add. So 119 plus 129 plus 104 plus 139 plus 95. So these add to be 586. Well, if I have a hexagon, I'm supposed to have 720 degrees. Okay, so that means 720 minus 586 is 134. So that means the sixth angle is 134 degrees. So it's exactly the same way as you do a triangle. It's just you have more. You have more angles, you have more degrees. So the sum of the interior angles of a polygon is 1620. So the sum. So they're telling me that n minus 2 times 180 is equal to 1620. So n minus 2 times 180 is equal to the sum, which is 1620. Okay, the sum is 1620. Well, how many sides? So remember, when you're looking for the number of sides, if you're doing exterior, you do this formula. If you're doing interior, you do this. So you take your sum, take your sum, divide by 180. So we're going to divide both sides by 180. So 1620 divided by 180. 1620 divided by 180, is 9. So that means n minus 2 is equal to 9 because I divided both sides by 180. And then the next thing I said to do was to add 2. So if I add 2 to this, I get 11. So I have 11 sides. And this is the algebra. N equals 11. Divide by 180 and add 2. Very basic, very simple. All you have to do is pay attention to the wording so that you know which one of these formulas up here you're going to use. The sum of the interior angles is 3960. Sum of interior is 3960. So n minus 2 times 180 is equal to 3960. As soon as I see sum of interior, I automatically know number of triangles times 180. So how many sides are there? Well, I'm just going to do it the easy way over here. 3960 divided by 180 is 22. Divide by 180, then add 2. So 24 sides. Questions? All right. What is the sum of the measures of the exterior angles of a nonagon? How many sides does a nonagon have? So n is 9. But if we're talking the sum of exterior, it's 360. I don't care what n is. If n is 3, if n is 9, if n is 19, if n is 109, it's always 360. If n is 360, it becomes a circle. Okay. What is the measure of each exterior angle of a 20gon? So if I want one exterior angle, I have to take 360 because we're talking exterior and divide by the number of sides. 360 divided by 20. 18 degrees, sorry. 18 degrees. Make sure you're putting your degree symbol so that you know if you're doing degrees or number of sides. All right. If the exterior angle of a regular polygon is 9 degrees, so 360 degrees divided by 9 degrees is 40 sides. Remember, if I give you number of sides, you can find degrees. If I give you degrees, you can find number of sides. Interchangeable. Now, if the interior angle is 108, So now you got one interior angle. How many sides? So this is the easiest way to do this. If I give you, like here, I gave you the total and you divided by 180 and added 2. But if I give you 1, then you have to think about, okay, let's just say this is the bottom of this polygon, because I don't know how many sides it is, so obviously you can't draw it. So just visualize this for me. So I'm just going to draw 3 sides because that's all I need to represent what I'm talking about. I know that the interior angle plus the exterior angle are going to add up to 180 because they're a linear pair, right? Well, if the interior is 108, that means the exterior has to be 72 because they have to add up to 180, right? Well, if I know the exterior, then I can do 360 divided by 72 and get that there are 5 sides, instead of doing the long formula. And I can show you that if you would like, but it's much more complicated. If you use this rule right here, that your interior plus your exterior add up to 180, and then 360 divided by the exterior equals n. So step 1, find the exterior. Step 2, use that 360. And the reason this one is easier, get that little purple hand out of the way. The reason this one is easier is because exterior always adds up to 360. So you don't have to worry about finding all the interior angles. Okay. All right. So that's kind of how you do all of those when it's really unknown. As long as you have a picture, then you can count the sides. All right. So here I know there's 4 sides, and I know that according to my notes that I did before, that 4 sides always add up to 360. So that means I'm going to add these and subtract from 360, just like we did when there was a triangle and did 180. So 79 plus 55 plus 110. So add up your sides, add up your angles. 79 plus 55 plus 110. So all of my angles add up to 244. Well, if they add up to 244 and I need 360, then I need to subtract them from 360. And I find out that x is 116 degrees. Number 13 works the exact same way. Sometimes, guys, if you're looking at these, the sides will look really, sometimes it'll be such an obtuse angle that it'll almost look flat. So I always count the angles because the angles inside number is always the same. That way you don't mess up. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So since n is 7, then I know, according to my notes, if I use my notes when I'm doing this, it's easy because I can go back and go, okay, 7 sides, there's 900 degrees. If I don't remember that, then you're going to have to do the n minus 2 times 180, okay? But I know that the inside has to add up to 900 because I'm using my notes. So I'm going to add up all of my angles. So I've got 90, and I'm just going to go around. Plus 148, plus 140, plus 136, plus 142, plus 150. So all the angles add up. So 90 plus 148 plus 140, 136, 142, 150. So all the angles add up to 806. They're supposed to add up to 900. 900 minus, I'm obviously having a very dyslexic day today. Everything I've touched, I've dropped. Numbers are backwards. It's out of control today. 900 minus 806, 94 degrees. I don't know if it's ADD kicking in or what, but I can't focus. All right. Now, obviously, we're going to use the same rules even when algebra is involved. Okay? The rules don't change just because I throw letters at you. Okay? It's going to be the same. Again, I'm going to count the angles here because it's easier to me than counting the sides. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n is 6. Well, as long as n is 6, then that means, if n is 6, that means there's 720 degrees. So all of this has to add up to 720. So what I'm going to do is add up all the x's because there's a bunch of them. Okay, here there was only one x. Here there was only one x. Here there's a bunch of them. So I'm going to add all my x's together first. So I've got 8x plus 5x plus 7x plus 6x. So add them all up. 8 plus 5 plus 7 plus 6. 26. So 26x. Now add up all your numbers. You got 110 minus 1 plus 36 plus 116 plus 19 minus 2. So pick a place to start and just go around. Okay, so now add all of that up. 110 minus 1 plus 36 plus 116 plus 19 minus 2. So 278. So 26x plus 278 has to add up to 720. So all of this has to add up to 720. 720 minus 278 divided by 26. So x is 17. So it just said to solve for x, so I don't have to worry about plugging it in. I'm just done at that point. Now in the next example, they want me to actually find the measure of the angle. Well, to find the measure of the angle, I have to find x. So I've got 4 angles. So this total is going to be 360. So just like up here, add your x's, add your numbers, but set them equal to 360. So 8 and 5 is 13. 13 and 10 is 23. 23 and 14 is 37. That doesn't sound right. 8 plus 5 plus 10 plus 14, 37. All right. 37x. Now add up all your numbers. 7 plus 18 plus 13 minus 11. And that adds up to 360. So subtract your 27. And then divide by your 37. Well, if they want me to find the measure of angle B, that's 8x plus 7. So that's 8 times 9 plus 7. So angle B, the measure of angle B, is 79 degrees. Here, they just want me to solve for x. They're telling me it is a regular polygon, so that means all the angles are the same, so I just need to count how many angles there are. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So n is 10. So that means 10 times 10x plus 4. Because they're all the same, so I can just multiply it by 10. So that means there's 100x plus 40. But since n is 10, if I go back to my notes, they have to add up to 1440 this time. So the interior is 1440. So if you subtract 40, you get 100x equals 1400. Divide by 100, you find out that x is 14. So just some simple algebra there. All right, last one. What do we know about the exterior? So as soon as you see these to me look like spaceship doors on like some sci-fi thing, you know. So as soon as I see these, I always think 360 because it's exterior. Okay. So that means all of this has to add up to 360 because they are exterior angles. So I'm going to do them the same way. I'm just going to set them equal to 360. So I'm going to add up my x's. So I got 7, 5. So 7 plus 5 plus 4 plus 9 plus 4 is 29. So 29x. And do the same thing with my numbers. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. 17 minus 6. And that plus 1 is 12. And all of that has to add up to 360. So add your x's, add your numbers. Subtract 12. (29x) equals 348. And now divide by 29. And it just said to solve for x, so I do not have to plug it in. And I am done.